Welcome to Flash CS5 Tutorial 43, Platforms and Arrow Keys. It's a follow-up to Flash CS5 Tutorial 42, Bounce and Gravity, and that's the FLA I have opened on my monitor right now. The first thing I want to do is open up the Actions panel, and let's get rid of bounce. Let's take the bounce right out of there. Don't want any bounce, so I'm just deleting that. And let's change the gravity at this point to 0.4. Let's just start from, go back to the timeline, select the balls layer, insert a layer and call it line 1, L-I-N-E 1. This is the platform we're going to make. And go down to my stage, pick up the rectangle tool, make sure all the layers are locked except the line layer, select frame 1, and draw a very skinny line. That's good enough. Selection tool, highlight it, modify it, convert it to a symbol, make sure movie clip is selected, L-I-N-E line 1 underscore MC, and copy that. Open the properties panel. It's still selected, and let's give it that instance name. Select the actions layer, first frame, open it up, and down here below this if statement, before the last curly bracket, type in this code. It's an if statement, if bracket, ball, capital B, underscore MC, period, hit test object, small h, capital T, capital O, that all turns blue, open bracket, capital L, I-N-E, 1 underscore MC, close bracket, there's the open curly bracket for my if, there's the closed curly bracket for my if. And if the ball hits the line, I want to tell the ball movie clip, capital B-A-L-L underscore MC, period Y equals the same axis of the Y of line 1 Y, LINE 1 underscore MC period Y minus 15. Minus 15 gives us some room to play with because of the diameter of the ball. And while we're at it, let's unlock the ball layer. Make sure the other layers are locked. Select the ball, and let's make it not 44. Make sure this link is locked, and let's make this 26. And both of these should change. And that minus 15 is just a little bit greater than half of this dimension. Come up here, and if we look at our variables, we took that bounce variable out of there. So let's find that bounce, anywhere we use that bounce, right here. And let's delete this line of code. And I think with that gone, we should be able to, let's go back to scene 1, back to the timeline. Let's take the ball, which is the layer is unlocked, click on it. Let's drag it and put it right just almost above the line, just a little bit of distance. It'll drop down. And let's test this movie for a minute. And the ball just sits there. If the ball falls through the line, we're going to fix that after. Why the ball is falling through the line is because we're incrementing the y-axis by such a great chunk that it's actually jumping and missing the hit test. And we'll straighten that out after. Let's lock all the layers. Let's open Open the action panel again. Let's put in another variable. I'm pasting it in. Var, VAR, and this is velocity x. Almost, you could actually copy this and paste it down here if you want. Colon number equals 4 semicolon. So if you want to copy this, just change the y to an x and put a 4 instead of a 0. And right under that, insert another line, and we want another variable. VAR push. Capital P, colon number equals decimal 1, semicolon. Go down as far as you can. We're no longer going to be inside of this end frame function. We're going to go way down here. Click on this last end of this last curly bracket. Insert a line and a whole bunch of typing. Type, and more typing and more typing and more typing. We're right here. Starting with a variable called right. Colon number equals 0 semicolon. The variable left, colon number equals 0 semicolon. This is another stage add event listener. STAGE period. Add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, open bracket. This is a keyboard event, capital K, capital Y, one big word, turns blue. Period. Key underscore down. These are all capitals. So it's a keyboard thing. Comma and down key. Close bracket semicolon. So it's a keystroke, and we're calling it down key. Here's the function, calling the function. FUNCTION. Copy this down key and paste it in. Open bracket, event, small e, colon, keyboard event. You can copy this keyboard event and put it in here. Close bracket. And here is the open curly bracket for this down key event. And there's the close curly bracket. And inside that we have two if statements. So here we go. If, open bracket, event, small e, period, key code, small k, capital C, equals 39. 39, then close bracket. 39 is the key code for the right arrow. There's my open curly bracket for this if statement. There's my closed curly bracket for this if statement. There's those two new variables we made. Velocity x, capital V, capital X, plus equals, that means increment by push, capital P-U-S-H, semicolon, and push was this new parameter we made at point 1. So that's going to give us acceleration when we move it left, or excuse me, in this case, when we move it right. You can then copy this whole thing and paste it again. The only thing you're going to change, instead of 39, you're going to have 37, which is the left key, and here it's going to be the same thing, the exact same code, and this time it's left. There's my closed bracket for this if, and there's my closed bracket for that entire function. Now come down here. Stage, add event listener, keyboard event, key up. You can pretty much copy this. Pretty much copy this if you wish. It says stage, add event listener, small a, capital E, capital L, open bracket, keyboard event, capital key, capital E, period, key up. Up here is when when the key was pushed down. Now this is when the key is lifted up. And comma, and I'm calling this up key function, close bracket, semicolon. My function, up key, bracket, event, colon, keyboard event, close bracket, and here are two ifs, pretty much the same as what's up here, pretty much the same, except now the velocity x equals 4, right equals 0, and naturally a colon at the end of them, and here is, copy this, paste it, and the only thing you need to change is the 39 to a 37. And the word right becomes left. Up here, we're setting the right and left abilities to have velocity. Here, when we lift the key up, we're taking the velocity, this x, and setting it back to 4 where it was. Otherwise, every time you press the button and let it go, when you press the button again, the velocity would just keep rising, and he would start off going very fast and faster at the start. We want him to start back off at the velocity based on 4. Okay, so that's that. And naturally, we have at the end here two closed curly brackets, one for this if and one for that function up key. Now we actually got to tell the ball to move. So click at the end of that curly bracket, insert a line, and type all this. There's the part we just did. Again, stage, period, add event listener, open bracket, event, period, enter underscore frame, all capitals, comma, and this we're calling x velocity, capital X, capital V, E, L, close bracket, semicolon. We're calling this event, function, capital X, capital V, E, L, open bracket, event, close bracket, and inside this function there's our curly bracket for the function, there's our closed curly bracket for the function, and inside of here I have some ifs. Now, first of all, if, open bracket, so there's two of them here because there's a couple things going on. I don't know if I need those. We'll check later on. Open bracket, ball, capital B-A-L-L, underscore MC, period Y, equals, capital L-I-N-E-1, underscore MC, period Y, minus 15, close bracket. So up here is where we had it hit. So if it's hitting that line, indeed, if it's hitting that line, then open bracket here for this safe statement. If bracket right equals 1, close bracket. Now that's that one we made up here. This is why we made these. These are going to control the way this is happening, whether we're going left or right. If that is equal to a 1, which it would be if we hit that arrow, then open bracket, capital B-A-L-L, underscore MC, period X, its X velocity would be plus equal to V-E-L-X, capital V-X, capital V, capital X, semicolon, close bracket. So now that velocity we made up here, right here, which is based on push, will now send that ball moving to the right. Close bracket. You can copy this and rewrite it as long as you put left and then minus here. But either way, if open bracket left equals 1, and left would be equal 1 up here if we press the left arrow. If that is true, close bracket, there's my open curly bracket, capital B-A-L underscore MC, period X, minus equals capital B-E-L, capital X, semicolon. That's sending it to the left because it's got to be decrementing it. Close bracket, and there's my close bracket for that function. So this might work right now. Control, test movie. Oh, I have an error. What is it? I'm expecting I must have to have another. I must need another closed bracket here. One for here, one for here. Oh yeah, one for the function. There it is there. Control, test the movie. There it's sitting on there. I can go back and forth, but it still falls through. Going back to the main timeline. I think that's enough for now. The tutorial is getting long. So if indeed you have that where you can move it back and forth with your left and right arrow, and within a short time it's going to fall through because it's being told by gravity to increment, and in the follow-up tutorial we'll straighten that out. The follow-up tutorial will be Flash CS5 Tutorial 44, Ball on Platform. Save this FLA if you plan on doing this follow-up. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.